Good evening, everybody, and welcome yourselves to the Elemental Series Earth Close Qualifier B stream, where we have 16 teams fighting it out for one of the 4 spots in the Elemental Series Finals, which will be in just a few weeks' time. So we've got a great evening of Rocket League action, some bubble level teams in here, some familiar faces, big names. You will not want to miss this one. My name is Faded, and joining me in the casting booth today is Sebastian. How are you today?
I'm warm, but doing good. Hearing that they're in other parts of the country and other parts of the world, there's actually rain. I wish I knew what that feels like, because the Sahara Desert would be wet compared to here right now, except for the sweat. But still, we're not here for that. We're here for the Rocket League, and I'm very excited to have these two teams here and to be casting once again with you. I don't get a chance that often to cast with you, so I'm pretty excited with this. We have two interesting teams. Can you tell us anything about them?
Yeah, so let's go through the lineups to begin with. So we're going to be seeing Storybud against Otterworld in our first game. So on the Storybud side, we'll start with them. We've got Rob, James, and iRiser. And then the opposing side of Otterworld, we have Zaleo, Zebrafy, and Phoenix. So some names, some people may not be as familiar with, some more familiar faces. We've seen James, for example, doing bits of the bubble scene, was recently teamed with Creamy and Rexo, I believe, on Revenge. That team split up and now joining forces with Rob and iRiser. Otterworld may be the more lesser known side in this one. iRiser, rank A player, and we've seen Zalea and Phoenix participating in some weeklies as well. So they're ones to look out for, but either way, I believe it should be a pretty close match. There are some substitutions being made for the series, both teams making a player change from their open qualifier team to their close qualifier team. So could be some interesting stuff here.
Yeah, definitely. I'm wondering if that's because of scheduling issues or if they feel that with this other lineup they stand a bit more of a chance. Because of course, getting through the qualifier it's an up and down thing. It gets seeded, but seeds sometimes can be a bit volatile. So what happened is they got through that. They are the top 16 team. So all these teams got through a gauntlet of other players to get here and be as good as they are. So the question is, did they I really wonder if they switched because of skill or just because of scheduling issues. I hope it's not scheduling issues, because those are usually the worst.
Yeah, I would hope not because of scheduling issues. It would suck if scheduling issues would cause this, or even technical issues. We even had a team drop out because of that purely. So it may mean that these teams maybe aren't at their strongest because they have to use a player they're less familiar with. But at the same time, neither team knows what to expect out of each other because they're different lineups. So they'll just have to go in, being thrown into the deep end, and see what happens. So I think we'll now predict the result of the game before we get onto the match. Sebastian, who do you think's to come out on top?
Oh, who do I want to see? I think I want to see Otterworld on top. I think this is mostly a team name decision, more than I would base it on my read of the players. Maybe after the first game, I can make a better educated guess. But for now, Otterworlds, because otters are kind of cute.
I would wholeheartedly agree with that statement. I love otters as well. But to make it interesting on the desk, I'm going to go with Storybud for this one. Just looking at the lineups, I think they are the slightly stronger side in this one. Maybe not by too large of a margin, but I would hope for a close matchup here. But I think that's all we have to talk about. We're now going to get straight into the game. We're a little bit behind schedule, and I'm sure these teams are eager to go. So may as well tell them to go onto the pitch and get themselves started.
Yeah, let's hope they are ready for this. We have the teams ready. This is going to be Storybud with James, Rob, and I believe it's going to be iRazor against Otterworld, which is Phoenix, Sibrivi, and Zelio. Hope all of you are going to have fun. This is good luck to the players, and of course, Faded, take it away.
Thank you very much, Sebastian. But a neutral kickoff to begin with. Rob going to be booming this one to the backwards. As you see Zaleo dropping it to Phoenix. Trying to get back into Zaleo, but instead concedes possession to James. Will find a ball into the centre. That one being contested. Rob now taking his time. Leaves it for James. A Zebrafy does pre-jump him. Now out to the side. iRiser looking for an infield pass. Rob's a little bit too close for it. Phoenix going to get this one out. Zaleo now popping it into the corner. James going to send it back down the field if he can. Not if Phoenix has anything to say about it though. iRiser now banging it back down. A little bit of time here for the side of Otterworld. This is Zebrafy falls off the post. Matches to recover for the save. James with a follow-up. Zaleo out onto the right wing as he now bangs it down the field. And so far, pretty hot start here for both these teams. Back and forth action, perhaps what we expect. Both the teams trying to feel each other out.
I don't know if I want to say hot, but it feels the start is a bit more rocky for Otterworld here. They are not on the same kind of stable ground. They overcommitted a little bit through some of their attacks, so they couldn't keep up the pressure. They do want to do pressure play, and if they can do that right, they'll do it very well. Because as you can see here, they need to fall back every once in a while. This is probably going to give Storybud a good chances to get some counter attack plays in.
Yeah, indeed. I was noticing that where, we have two players sitting a bit too far forward. I can understand that, trying to keep the pressure going. But it could just take one long clear from the side of Storybud and, Otterworld are done for. So they have to be a little bit careful of that one moving forwards as they are on the attack again. Still shaking James out of the game, but will not matter as Rob now has a lot of time. We know for his one skill. Does bottle the flick though. So Phoenix does send this one down.
One skills.
Unfortunate. Just as I was saying it. Jinxing it, but now we see Superfly taking his time trying to take it over iRiser, and Rob converts it into his own net, and perhaps against run of play, goal number 1 here for Otterworld.
Superfly just forcing this over the defenders. iRiser not really getting a touch there, and Rob just expecting the defense to be a little bit better from his teammate. Probably doesn't jump up in any way, shape, or capacity. For the ones main, it seems a bit like he doesn't have the consistency, which is something that I would expect from those kind of players.
Yeah, indeed. That flick was maybe a bit questionable, but, I can understand it's the first game. They're warming up into it, so I'll let him off with that one. There's an iRiser, a bit of a weak touch. Phoenix now dropping onto the backboard. James going to get a read on that one. So Leo now bang it again, trying to ping off the backboard once more, but it doesn't seem to be working out too well as the players of Storybud seemingly low on boost, struggling to get out in a huge double commit, but will not matter as it results in the booming clear. Does Superfly trying to keep pressure up iRiser? Got no problem taking that one. I guess onto left for Rob. What a shot onto net, Leo. Great save to meet it. Superfly back to the midfield. Now James back into the midfield again as the Phoenix goes try to get another shot. Superfly off the back wall, nearly makes contact. Could have been quality play there, but just over halfway through the game, still 1-0 for Otterworld.
At least Otterworld is now coming alive after the first goal there. They got their confidence with that one, and you can see that in the kind of plays that they're doing. Still a couple of mistakes, especially on Zelio's side, who's playing pretty solid, but just making a few unfortunate mistakes here and there. Now the demo comes in. Frustration from Storybud eventually works out in their favor, and they blow up the defender and get a good goal from it.
Yeah, those demo plays working out. Leo, there was no way he was going to get back to that one. He was trying to cover that backboard, but as you know, demo's the meta in this game. Just get rid of the defender, and it can be an easy goal just like that. And so, Storybud, you say they were frustrated to concede that first goal. Now they get one back, as that's a dangerous chance there. As now, so they're going to turn it onto this one, trying to get to the middle. No one there to meet it, and a double commit again from Storybud. As now James getting it into the corner. Superfly has a little bit of time to work with, gets it over one. As now Rob trying to get it into the center as well as in front of net. He does take out a couple of defenders, but Superfly will get that one away. Now dropping into the midfield. James going to put it into the opposing corner. Phoenix will touch this side, trying to follow it up. Rob does beat him to it, and it could be a chance. So Leo concedes possession again. And Riser does have the follow-up shot. Superfly going to have that save, but still pressure building for Storybud. That's finally the clear they need. No, iRiser coming back in again. Seems like Storybud are starting to pick up the pace now, getting some more pressure on their opponents. You can tell they were annoyed to be conceding first this game, and they really want to take first game here and now.
Yeah, and I think that also comes because they've been pushed into their half a little bit too much. They had to soak up a lot of pressure, and overall they did that very well, so they can be happy that they know their defenses are good enough, but it still feels like they don't want to see those kind of things done. And they've also noticed a weakness on the side of Otterworld. They do not move forward very well, so most of the balls they're kind of giving away in midfield, but just booming them forward without a good passing option. And this really gives them a lot of chance for the ball to be stolen again. We see another pressure play coming here in from Phoenix, trying to look for the pass, but he can't really get it in target because the defense is solid here for Storybud.
Yeah, take a look at the Otterworld side and their defense. You talk about them not following up their clears very well. I just see multiple times they're just banging it away at conceding possession to the opposite side when really they could be taking control and finding those touches to each other so they could get a solid counter-attack. But 10 seconds left this game. James whiffing that one, but it will not matter too much. And I imagine they still have the pressure. Ball still up as they're on 0 seconds. 0-5 trying to get a center, but I think James will try to drop it. iRiser tries to keep it up though. Leo tries to keep it high, but Rob, what a pinch into the sky there as James tries to get into midfield, but we're now in it to overtime. Really close game so far, as now Rob going to be starting off this one with the ball into Seaverfight. Going to be trying to follow this one up again at iRiser with a touch out, looking to follow up. Phoenix off the back wall. James onto Zaleo, does contest it, but Rob should have an easy time getting this one out. Got the control. So Phoenix once again onto the backboards, and early on in this overtime, looks like Otterworld wanting to close this one out if they can with that early pressure.
Yeah, I feel for me that on the side of Otterworld, there is one of the players that seems a little bit weak. Zelio, the player on the ball now, just doesn't have the same kind of clean touches, is not using the wall as effectively, and is not really taking any risks. So I think the idea of them not moving forward enough is because they don't trust if Zelio is in the back. So they need to move around their offensive position a little bit to get a more chances created, because they trust Seaver he's doing very well, but Zelio just every once in a while not fast enough. And on the other side, well, they just need to get a bit more solid. Rob needs to stop making mistakes. James and iRiser are trying their best here, but overall, it seems like it's two players that just need to step up a little bit for their team, and then we can get that first win here. But it's good to see that both teams are this neck and neck, even in the first game.
That's some great advice, you know. Just don't make mistakes, lol. Like, imagine if it was that easy for someone. Just don't make mistakes. It would be pretty simple, right? But for Rob, you know, it's first game for him. You know, maybe a bit of jitters, but still playing solid overall. But I am noticing Storybud still making quite a few double commits, and so far, there's been no capitalizations on those kind of mistakes from Otterworld, but if they keep on going, it could be about time for it. As we're approaching 2 minutes into this overtime, Robin 0 boost, but has the one ability at iRiser, waiting infield for a pass, and does manage to get it off of the botch save from Zuleo. And it's the game 1 win here for the favourite Storybud.
Yeah, Celio, again, the choices that you make are sometimes a bit questionable. Rotating ball side there, yes, you did get boost, but you were in such an awkward position to save that ball easily. It was going to take a little bit of trickery to get that ball away from your net and passing it in front of the net while there was somebody waiting there. I mean, that didn't always have to happen. iRiser could have been a little bit further away, not get that touch, and it wouldn't have been a goal, but it's still such a risky way of decision making. And I think that for Otterworld is going to be their biggest downfall there. Decision making in the experience playing with a sub, they're not going towards very standard rotations, very standard ways of playing, to make sure that those kind of things do not happen, because you know you can trust your players. And Storybud is probably going to take advantage, not because they are the flashier players, because I feel Otterworld is individually and stylistically a bit stronger, but Storybud's just playing better as a team for now.
Yeah, they're looking like the more solid side. We did mention the double committing issue, but nothing has come off of that so far. They're playing solid enough where that doesn't really make a difference. Otterworld, if they want to capitalize on those kind of mistakes, they've just got to push more. They've got to trust each other a lot more, because you see there's a few honestly daft mistakes being made. Like with Leo, you know, he was in an awkward position, yes, but hitting the ball across the goal like that, doesn't matter if iRiser's there or not. You know, still you got to take control of that. You can't let it go like that slip. As it appears iRiser has disconnected from the match, but he should be back momentarily. So yeah, it was a close first game. Really, you could argue that Storybud maybe could have had it a bit easier, considering the way Otterworld are playing, but hopefully Otterworld, they fixed that trust issue, and they come in with a bit more confidence into this game, and can hopefully play more solid as we're kicking off into game 2. Storybud lead by 1 game, as the ball's hovering in the half of Storybud. Seaverfight trying to intercept. There's now Zaleo waiting patiently for this one, but no one's challenging the ball just yet. Phoenix will have to get onto it, and now Zaleo going in for this one, looking for a center. It's off the backboards. iRiser gonna take it out and away as a super fight. Turning onto this one, another backboard touch. James has plenty of time, just sends it down the field. Phoenix now putting it back in, as now Rob with a weak touch will allow a chance for Zaleo to come in. So Phoenix diving for this one, does get a touch into the middle, allows Rob with a booming clear, but Zaleo there perfectly to intercept it. And within this first 40 seconds, it's been all Otterworld on the offensive half, except from now as the ball enters their half. But they're managing to keep the pressure so far. It looks like a bit of an awkward start though for both teams, just not looking as comfortable, you could say.
Yeah, and as we saw the last game as well, Otterworld is good at keeping that pressure for a while, but the big problem is that at some point they drop, and when they drop that pressure, that's when a lot of pressure gets applied to their net, and they do not really have that recovery. So the way they are moving their players right now is very aggressive. They want to give it all. They want to throw everything they can, plus a little bit extra, and it's working very well this time. So they adjusted a little bit, are playing just more aggressive now.
Yeah, indeed. Zero Five just, yeah, doing that all himself. Gets a ball past one player and just goes for the demo. And Phoenix has to win at 50-50 and easy. It's a goal into the bottom left. So again, Otterworld getting themselves in the leads to begin with in this game, as you do lose that kickoff, but it's looking a lot better for them. They're playing more aggressive. Maybe could be slightly riskier, but it's what they have to do if they want to take down the Storyblood team. If you don't do that, they play too passive, then it's just like they're just killing over and dying, basically. You could equate it to that. But Phoenix now with a huge 50 into the opposing half. James will have that read though against the corners. Now Rob touched it back for iRiser, and James just sends Leo into his own half. So iRiser trying to get onto this Phoenix with the block. Super 5 being beat, sorry, to that by James, as Leo puts it over into Phoenix. Gonna try force the 50 with Rob into the center. Superfly gonna take control. As now Leo coming in for this one, trying to make a solo play perhaps. Looks for the shot on net, good effort, but it will be wide as this ball is sent back into the opposing half. James with a shot on net, but Phoenix will handle it easily. Rob trying to intercept it. James turning again onto it. But the defense looking good so far for Otterworld. It's at least better than it was in the last game.
Yeah, the defense is looking a little bit better, and the biggest change they've made is they started giving a lot less space to Storyboard. Storyboard was a team, especially with someone like Rob, they want to have those chances to dribble. They want to take it a bit, that attack a little bit slower, but they're not getting the chances here. And on the other side, Otterworld stopped doing a lot of like slower dribble plays out of defense. They are playing a little bit fast now, but they are also moving someone up so that they always have a passing option. So that combination for them, that adjustment is looking very good for Otterworld, and it's looking a bit dire for Storybuds, who really need to find a way back. They won the first game, but getting that second one always puts you in a very comfortable position.
Yeah, indeed. Winning 2 games in a row, you get onto match point, but by the looks of it, Storyblood just unable to get anything going in this game. I mean, any chance they have had have been comfortably dealt with by the Otterworld side, who are honestly looking a lot better this game, as you said, denying a lot of that space for the opposition. So there's quite a bit of space here. Phoenix going to try cross it into the left side, but to nobody seemingly. I'd assume he tried to get to Superfly there, so there's Leo trying to get into the corner. Rob waiting patiently for it. So James with a demo onto Phoenix. This could be a chance for them to get upfield, but not if Superfly's there to stop it. So iRise out to the corner. Rob with a shot on net. Phoenix reads it very well. James trying to get it into the box again. Leo clears it out as we see iRiser into the sidewall, but it's a free ball here for Phoenix. Sends it to the backboard just to get a bit more of that pressure, and follows it up as well, but will not amount to much. As now Superfly infield, Rob there to cut it off. As now iRiser getting a demo on one. Phoenix up for it again, but he misses. Critical mistake on the defense, and Rob has the equalizer.
And Phoenix was probably not expecting having to go for that one because of the demo wasn't happening yet, and he was a bit out of position to save that one. He should have had that touch, of course, but Rob, with the calm and collected ones play, is able to make sure that that ball still goes in, and it is 1-1 once again. So the story of this game continues. Otterworld gets an early lead, they play very aggressive, and then one fatal mistake can mean at least a tied game, and now it's up to them to get another goal, or Storyblood might run away with this once again.
Yes, this has another demo on the backboard with Rob not committing for that, and all I hope for is that Otterworld do not crumble now because they made one mistake. They gotta keep that confidence up, otherwise, as I said, Storyblood is gonna run over them. Seeming to be calm and collected thus far since the goal. As there's a Leo trying for another chance, a weak shot on net. Rob flicks it high as a Phoenix looking for that pass. It drops to Superfly. Has some possession here, trying to get past one. Looking to get past Rob as well, but that 50 is solid enough as a Phoenix coming in. Looking for the double touch, but no power on it as iRiser sends it back down the field. There's Superfly on this. Sending it back down and looking to play for overtime here as Rob sends it down the field again. Phoenix intercepting it. James, the only one back. Phoenix looking for that dunk, but James plays it well. Tries to get past one more. Ball still up. iRiser has a chance on the backboard. Superfly gonna clear it out. So iRiser waiting for the drop, but Superfly will let it die. And we're now into the second overtime of the series.
And with that overtime, we're going into the real meat of the game. Storybuds, if they take this one, of course, already on match point and can start looking at an insane play, but I don't think Otterworld is going to get shut out. They look very strong. They have their moments of weakness, but overall, I think they're playing well enough. It's just they need to pick up the pace a little bit so they don't get demoed as much, because the demos right now for Storybud are their biggest weapon and are paying dividends for them.
Yeah, they did directly get a goal in the last game from a demo, and there were some chances just in the last minute of that game where there was some demos coming through. It was looking scary for the Otterworld defense, but so far in this game at least, it's not amounted to anything. But you're right, Otterworld do need to look out for those demo plays. Now they're having to play defense here. Rob again going for a demo onto Phoenix. It's now James looking for another touch, just trying to bang down the field. Here comes iRiser, shot intercepted by Superfly, but it is hanging. Zaleo will clear it to safety. So James looking to start another attack, puts it over to iRiser, can't go for it again. Phoenix is the middle, James up for it again. Rob yet again, another demo, trying to open up this Otterworld defense. So Phoenix has control here, sent it down the line where James will meet it. So Rob gonna send this one out. Superfly has some control, but look at Rob again, going for exit demos on every single rotation he has, and it is a pain in the backside really for this Otterworld defense, and they're struggling to deal with it. Could be about time that one of these demos leads into a goal perhaps.
Yeah, but the slower rotation could also mean a bit more of a counter-attack kind of style that could work very well. But there's not a lot to be worried about, because we see it mostly here from Otterworld once again. They boom the ball forward and they don't really do a lot with it. They give away possession with almost every touch. Again here, ball flies forward. One of the players there for Storybud gets the ball. And we're probably going to see it again right now. But they need to keep that ball and the possession a bit more, because they're not going to get any chances like this.
Yeah, it seems like they're falling back into their old habits, almost instinctive, where they just need to keep the ball away. They're worried about these demos, and it's a high pressure overtime situation. They know they lose this, they are out of contention to tie this series up really, and they'll be on match point on the losing end. So they've really got to get this win. As iRiser banger down the field, and this could potentially drop in now. So they there to intercept it. Rob trying to find James on the opposite side as Phoenix has no boost to go for this, and a big double commit for Otterworld. You can see the nerves starting to affect them even more now as we're getting deeper and deeper into this overtime. It's a Phoenix though, he does have a chance, but this pun set into the wall as we see Zaleo trying to get something going here. Tries to get it into the middle, but it will be for iRiser. Can't find contact though, so it does give Phoenix a chance. So James getting it out again, has control, gets it behind Zaleo. So Superfly needs to slow the ball down. Good from him. They need more of that kind of play. The Otterworld side. So James getting there again, looking for a solo play, takes over Zaleo, and it's just dropping to the net. Phoenix can't make it back in time, and Storybuds do come out on top again in the overtime.
Yeah, Rob might be the ones player, but I think James has the aerial stones here to throw them around, get them across the cop pond, skip him there, and finish it for Storybud. They are now in a commanding position and could look for the sweep against Otterworld, which Otterworld is playing so well at times. They're looking so strong. They're keeping up pressure. They're playing it very nicely, but just at the end, they always fall down. They always fall back into their old rhythms. They always fall back in their old rotations. And those kind of mistakes are just something that Storybuds is just going to punish again and again.
Yes, exactly. You got to keep that focus on the strategy if you're Otterworld. They made those changes that we wanted to make. It was looking so good for them for most of that game, but it seemed to start to go downhill after the equalizing goal from Storybud. And then into that overtime, it just seemed to dwindle down more and more. As they got more and more nervous. Eventually, Storybud managed to break through. It was just a matter of time at that point because Otterworld, they had absolutely nothing on the attack. But as we head to game 3, it's 2-0 here for Storybud. As you said, commanding position. They have control of the series. Just one more game. And the pressure's off for Otterworld. They got to win the next 3 in a row. It's going to be a mountain to climb, to say the least, for this team. There's no other way around it.
Yeah, it's definitely a mountain there, and I think the earthy puns are coming through miraculously. I think we've got I think our communication here is pretty solid, almost solid as a rock, as you could say.
Oh my word. I think these rock puns and earth puns are going to drive me crazy by the end of the day, but nevertheless, I'll allow it. Everyone seems to do puns nowadays, so what can I do about it? As we're now getting into game 3 of the series. Match point, as we said, for Storybud. If you are just joining us, And it's again Otterworld on the attack here. Phoenix looking for that double touch, but bouncing a bit too high as Superfly going in for this one. Zaleo on the back boy could give Phoenix a chance, but he can only merely intercept that ball there from iRiser. And Superfly into sidewall, dropping it into the middle. A really good bounce from, but Rob diving down from the ceiling will get it, and a full team commit here for Otterworld. Superfly will get back in time though to make the save. It was looking scary for them. They had some decent pressure going for them, again, just like the previous games, but it almost led to an instant counterattack because they were playing so aggressive. We like the aggressive play for them, but they have to be careful of that, as though that is a big warning sign for them there.
Yeah, I do like that they're trying to put some demos into their own play. They're not really catching out the Storybud players yet, but they are looking for demos. They're adding it to their repertoire, and I think that's going to be very important. Like on the whole, I'm just not sure they have it in them. They don't seem to have practiced that kind of style enough, and that could mean that overextending for bumps and demos could run into more mistakes for Otterworld. So they're trying new things, but I'm not sure if it's going to work.
Yeah, that's the thing, especially in this case when they have a sub, so change your playstyle can be a bit different. Of course, you're not too used to playing with each other already, but when you have to make big strategy changes like that, such as adding in demos to your gameplay, can be difficult. It can lead to players extending too much for play, and you know, it very nearly led to a goal there where Superfly was just barely back. But if you take too wide of a rotation just for the sake of a demo that really doesn't affect the play at all, then you know, what's the point in doing it? So they'll have to do it with consolidation, shall we say. It's 2 minutes into this game. James gonna punt it into the corner wall. Zaleo gonna send him away along with the ball. So Superfly puts it to the side wall. James having a bit of trouble controlling his car here, but he will catch it eventually, and he's gonna leave it for iRiser, playing very patiently there. So on 0 boost, looking to make a play himself, does try to get one on target. Phoenix gonna send it away, and Superfly with the booming clear down the field. So James with a little bit of time, sending over to iRiser, who does pre-jump that onto the backboard, looking for the double tap. Wonderful stuff from iRiser. For the first time, Storybud scored for the first time in the game.
And iRiser has shown us some fancy footwork before in this series, and now showing us off that he can do it all. With that, it just shows such a lack of defensive structure here for Otterworld. They are not rotating back fast enough. They're not in the right position fast enough. No one was there to challenge him. No one was there to really do anything well for them. So that's a mistake that they do really desperately have to fix. But now that they also need a goal, I'm not sure if they're going to have the space to do that.
Yeah, exactly, because it's a comfortable position. I mean, usually I wouldn't say that a 1-0 lead is comfortable, but considering how the series has gone so far, it is pretty comfortable for Storybuds. They're fine with just running the clock down at this rate. You know, they know that as long as they can keep this play off, keep the pressure going onto Otterworld, and, you know, not letting them out of the defense, then they'll be totally fine. Easy sweep as James again going for the fancy plays, that flip reset, but it hits the bar. So iRiser again taking players out of the game. Rob looks to make a play here as a Leo. A bit of an awkward touch. He will get it out. So iRiser has a bit of space to work with. Does touch it over for James. It is blocked. So Leo has a little bit of time to work with. Look for the solo plays with the air dribble bump on Rob, but iRiser are going to be back just in plenty of time. The Superfly trying to find a center again, takes it under one. It could be a dangerous play, but no one was there in the midfield to take that one. So there's a Leo trying to get a challenge on Rob, but look at one's plays again, trying to take out Phoenix, but he does recover well for it. So James just setting like a block there in the middle of the field, just taking Phoenix out of the game as a Superfly with the center. Could be a scoring chance, but Rob going to take it away as we approach the 1 minute mark. Storybud still looking like the favourites to take this game here. I don't see Otterworld having much of a chance.
Yeah, I think the chances of Otterworld are grounded in fantasy at the moment. They are falling too far off and do not have... I don't think they're going to get the right amount of chances still. They're looking for individual plays. They look a bit desperate. Their entire MO switch, where it was decent together, they're now falling apart alone. And I got to say, James is taking full advantage of it with a beautiful touch here.
Yeah, that touch was just exquisite from him and takes it past all defenders. They were just so mispositioned, but as you said, desperate times call for desperate measures. You know, they have to try something. We saw the solo plays coming out. I appreciate them trying something different, but sadly it's not going to be enough. The individual quality just is not there at the moment for this Otterworld side. It's a 2-0 lead here. And, it's looking like it's over for Otterworld as really just trying to play for consolation at this rate because they'll be sent to the lower bracket once the clock hits 0 as Leo's trying to get something going, but it's not going to matter at all. Storybud with the 3-0 sweep in our first series on stream. Was some close games, I will admit, and I gotta give props to Otterworld. He looked very solid at times, but it just wasn't enough, was it? As they'll be sent to the lower bracket, Storybud will advance to the next round.
Someone said they lost to Dam. Oh, the Otters lost to Dam.
Uh,
Ah,
Unfortunate. All right.
not that the Dam puns are for the Elemental Water series. That's going to be the last one, I believe. So
Yeah.
this is not the time and place for that. Even though we have Otters, I think the Otters are going to stand a better chance in the Water Elemental series as well because it's going to be more of their natural habitat. Where Storybud is just good wherever because they don't really have an affiliation with any kind of type of element, but they seem to be playing just. I'm not sure if they're playing very well or Otterworld right now was just looking a bit disheartening and not rotating well enough, not playing together well enough to really stand a chance against Storybud, who was just overall a bit more solid.
Yeah, indeed. I think that was just a story of that series. Storybuds, they were just more solid. Like, that's all I can really say about it. Otterworlds, yes, they were good, and I think individually, it's not too far apart, to be fair to them, but Otterworld just was not solid enough as a team. And, they've got the issues to fix. They've got to trust each other more and have more consistency in the style of play because it just seems like, they could be playing fantastically for a few minutes and then as soon as they concede, it just drops off and, they're doing absolutely nothing. But Otterworld, I feel like they could still make a run in the losers brackets. They got a long journey ahead of them, but I can see it. They could perhaps build some momentum into the following rounds. But for now, Gavashtun, that'll be it for that game. Any closing thoughts on that?
Mostly that there is also an A stream that you can also check out. They probably have a link in the chat. There's a multi-stream link flying around somewhere as well where you can check both. And with all that, make sure you check out the other qualifiers and the other tournament organizers as well as this one because in all intents and purposes, it's all very, very good that we have so many different teams and groups working together, casting here and performing and getting this entire tournament ready.
Yeah, indeed. And, we want to thank Challenger Mode as well, not just the tournament organizer for supplying the prize pool for this. Of course, we don't have this big tournament without them. And of course, they've got all the community orgs together to hold this. So we get to see amazing Rocket League like we've just seen. And we do have more for you guys coming up next. I'm not sure what the match will be, but we will be having a match from the next round of the brackets. I'm pretty sure there's a command somewhere like exclamation bracket if you want to see that. And of course, you can watch the A stream and the Russian stream as well. I just got told it was match 11 I'm going to be watching, so that'll be your Ma against the winner of Holy Cow and the Juicers. Thank you, MC, for telling me that. But there, that is it for that match. We'll now be hopping to a short break. When we'll be back, we'll be having our next game on stream, so don't go anywhere.